Welcome everybody to uSTADIUM Fantasy Live. I'm your host, Chris, and with me as always is the Stefan Berschbaumer himself. How is it going, big guy? Week 9 is here. We are getting so close to the fantasy football playoffs. I hope in most of your leagues that you are close, or if not into the playoffs. But how are you doing, brother? How has your week been? Are you ready for this weekend? All your lineups set?
Listen, if I had a week in fantasy on Sunday like I did before, I'm talking like it was a good money week, betting wise. So I thought that was a good omen. On Thursday night, I had Dallas Goedert, 25 points from a tight end. Damian Pierce had his little good day. So I'm good. I just hope that I'm going to the Rams game today against the Bucks. I hope the Bucks pull it out. I hope my fantasy team. I look at the phone after 3 hours of doing what I do at the game, and I just see a walk. Can you hear me?
Yep, got you.
Okay. I can see a whopping 200 points on my scoreboard. That's what I want. I want to just, that'll cap off my week. I don't have to worry about a Monday night miracle, which for me gives me anxiety because every time I get to a Monday night miracle, I'm like, okay, I just need this guy not to get 100 points. He gets 100 points. So,
Yeah,
outside of that, it's good
it's
though.
the
But
reverse miracle.
that's why sometimes I just look at it and I'm like, you know what? Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, exactly. Out of all the weeks, this is probably the buy-mageddon week for fantasy players. You got the Cleveland Browns, the Dallas Cowboys, Denver Broncos, New York Giants, Pittsburgh Steelers, and San Francisco 49ers all on bye this week. So some big names not available for your lineups. So managers throughout the week having to make some difficult choices about who to start and who to drop and who to pick up. Make sure that you are following the uSTADIUM Fantasy Twitter page and you are downloading the uSTADIUM app. There, you will be able to answer questions throughout the week in the uSTADIUM fantasy teams page or outside of the teams page, and we will get those questions for you answered. As always, we are brought to you guys by the uSTADIUM app. Everyone at uSTADIUM, from college content, baseball, basketball, the Twitter spaces are live and electric. They got Knicks spaces on there with Sonny. So it is hype at uSTADIUM right now. The content is ever flowing. Make sure you're liking the stream, subscribing to the channel, and if you download the uSTADIUM app right now and you drop your username in the comments, we will hook you up with some free promo points for you to jump on to the takes feature, create a take, get in on some takes, agree or disagree. There's a leaderboard on there for guys. I think our boy Splash is at the top of the list. I mean, he's absolutely raking. I dropped my top 10 wide receiver list on the weekend or earlier this past, I think it was Friday. And I got T. Higgins finishing as the wide receiver 3 overall for our fantasy this week. I also attached a take to that, so you can get in on that take if you agree or disagree. Most people, I think, are going to disagree with that one.
Yeah.
So it could be easy money for me when he finishes in the top 3. Injuries, let's rattle off the injuries for this week 9. Players that are out: Matt Ryan hurt his shoulder, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Jahan Dotson, Jamar Chase out, not on the IR, so that's a good sign that he should return sooner rather than later. Josh Reynolds, wide receiver for the Lions, is out. Corey Davis is out. Devontae Parker's out. Marquise Goodwin is out. Russell Gage is out. Rashad Bateman is out. Michael Thomas put on the IR. Most likely those last 2 guys are most likely done for the season. J.D. McKissick is out with a neck injury. Chuba Hubbard is out with an ankle injury. You are firing up Donta Foreman today if you got him. Jonathan Taylor, the biggest bust in redraft leagues this year, is out. Gus Edwards is out. So again, you're firing up Kenyon Drake where you got him. Mark Ingram is out. Alvin Kamara is a must start. You're starting Alvin Kamara
Every
anyways.
week.
But the video did come out of his altercation in Vegas. So
Okay, really quickly then.
yeah,
I knew you saw that. What is your initial thought? Like, because people, of course, that don't have him, and people that have him have two different outputs where it's like, oh no, he just wasn't as bad as everyone says it is, and people are like, oh no, well he's gonna get suspended. Like,
yeah.
is it
I
is it
mean, I
really
don't.
that bad?
It's tough. It's tough to say because you almost have to think that the NFL has that video already before we
Hmm.
even
Oh
see
yeah,
it. And if they haven't suspended him already, I don't think he's gonna get suspended
and it's not happening
this
this
season
year,
at
right?
least. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
okay. So yeah,
Um,
anyone in redraft, you're good. In
you're good to
dynasty,
go. Yeah,
wait.
exactly. Yeah. Uh, where was I here? Mark Ingram out, and then tight end Cameron Brate is out. And we'll get to the questionable guys now. Ryan Tannehill is questionable with an ankle injury. He's going to be testing that ankle all the way up until the Sunday night game versus the Chiefs tonight. Vrabel has come out and said that he could run the offense with limited practice throughout the week. Willis has been taking first team reps for most of the practices throughout the week, but Ryan Tannehill could still start. Alan Lazard is questionable with the shoulder injury. Christian Watson also questionable with the concussion. Jarvis Landry has been practicing this week, so he's questionable with the ankle injury. DeAndre Swift with the shoulder and ankle. He's expected to play, but again, at what rate? And still, just like last week, you're still putting him in if he gets 10 touches because what he can do with those 10 touches. James Robinson came up on the injury report with the knee injury. Damian Harris isn't expected to play with the illness, so you're firing up Ramondre Stevenson where you got him. James Conner is expected to play, but the team is going to test him in pregame warmups to see if they are going to put him out there with that rib injury. And Darren Waller with the hamstring injury, he's trending towards not playing. So another I guess you could say bust on the year is
Yeah.
Darren Waller because he went in that top 5, 1 to 4 range of
Ugh.
draftable tight ends, and you just haven't been able to start them throughout the year. I got one league where I pick them up on Tuesday. I'll hold them throughout the week, and then by today or yesterday, I'm dropping them, letting them go back to waivers, and I'm picking up someone else. But
That's sad. That see, like this is when I look at like waiver wire and people are like, it's such a hard year. You look at these great names, Waller, Chase, Taylor. It's like these injuries, they're not in bulk. Like there's some years where it's just a bunch of injuries and it's like a slew of them. It's just like, God, what are you doing? This
yep.
year, it's not that. It's just the critical injuries are going to specific players, and it's killing teams. Like it's killing people to have Jamar Chase out when you've picked him in the first round. So imagine starting your lineup knowing it's like, well, I can't start this guy now. I got to start my second through 16th round players in my waiver picks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's rough. It's rough out there. All right, so that's enough of the housekeeping stuff. There, we gave you guys the full injury report, the buys. Let's get into the viewer questions, and that's why we're all here. Is Brian Robinson droppable?
No, Jay McKissick's out. I mean, let's be real. I know Brian Robinson's not the guy we're getting 25 carries and 125 yards and 2 touchdowns a game, but you got to look at the team. You got to look at what's going on, what's working for them. And honestly, the one thing that's working for them is Antonio Gibson. It's crazy that when Heineke steps in, it's like McLaurin's reborn, Antonio Gibson reborn. I just think that the Carson Wentz injury, and I never run out, never happy for an injury, but I think they really dodged a bullet in Washington because they should not have any wins right now if they were starting Carson Wentz. Is Brian Robinson droppable? No. Is he just going to sit on your bench until at least, you make it to the championship or you're eliminated? Yeah. If anything happens to Gibson, yes, clear-cut starter. He still is a starter, but I just don't like what I'm seeing. The yards per carry is not there. The carries are getting there, but they're just turning into 1 to 2, 3 yard gains. And for me in fantasy, it doesn't do anything because, Dameon Pierce, 25 carries, $139. If you have no, extra points in your league, no nothing, that's a 13.9 day. So even if Brian Robinson gets you that, if he's not getting you a touchdown or any receptions, it doesn't really mean anything. Droppable? No, but just you might want to trade him maybe to someone that needs a running back 2 or a running back 3 that lost a big guy, but not droppable yet.
Yeah, yeah. You're holding him just because he's a running back at the end of
Yeah,
the day. But
volume too.
yeah, hipster genius start. Herbert or Lamar? Lamar draws the New Orleans Saints, and Herbert gets the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons have been giving up the 5th most points to the quarterbacks on the season. Quarterbacks versus the Falcons are averaging 22.75 fantasy points on the year, whereas quarterbacks versus the Saints are averaging 17.25 fantasy points on the year. Both guys missing wide receiving options. Mark Andrews is out as well for the Baltimore Ravens, so it's going to be tough outing for both guys. Lamar Jackson does hold the advantage of the rushing ability, which is going to give him the edge over Herbert. But Herbert coming off the bye, no Keenan Allen, no Mike Williams. It's going to be the Josh Palmer, Gerald Everett show. Austin Eckler probably going to catch 100 passes. I'm going to lean here. I'm going to lean Justin Herbert over Lamar. Slight edge just because of the matchup. My process is when I'm torn between two guys, I'll refer to the matchup and then I'll make my decision based on that. So both guys can end up having a good day. I'm gonna lean Herbert just by a bit. AJ Terrell is out for the Atlanta Falcons as well, their top corner. So I'm gonna give the edge to Herbert over Lamar.
I think I gotta agree with you on that one. I mean, it's not easy. You know, it's a good thing to have, but it's also kind of a bad thing to have because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yep.
When it comes to Herbert, yes, AJ Terrell's out. You got Palmer, DeAndre Carter. You got all them boys. Lamar's got nobody. I mean, when Herbert loses receivers, he still has good backups that are honestly, I hate to say it, I could get some heat for this, are better than the starting receivers for the Ravens. Like, I'd rather have DeAndre Carr, Palmer, and Carter, I think, over what do they have there. And I think that's why Herbert does better because Andrews is out, likely he's going to be, and we know that he's going to be targeted heavily. But outside of that, if he's not running, at the end of the day, I feel Lamar's number or his ceiling could be capped a lot quicker than Herbert because Herbert's a gunslinger. This guy's going to still throw for 300 yards. Lamar might not even throw for 200, but rush for 100. So, like you said, I think Herbert, if anything, can outscore Lamar by 5 to 10 points just based on how much they attack, pass wise. So this week I got to go Herbert with you too. It's not easy, but it's small.
Yeah, by a small amount, I'm gonna lean Herbert. Both QBs haven't been that great. I mean, they had some good weeks, but still. Andrew E, Zay Jones or Isaiah Pacheco. I mean, the ultimate sleight of hand last week with the Isaiah Pacheco stuff. I'm gonna lean Zay Jones here over Pacheco. I like the matchup versus the Sorry, I like the matchup that Zay Jones has this week, so I'm going to lean that. Isaiah Pacheco was the ultimate smoke and mirrors play last week, so I'm going to go Zay.
He got us last week so hard. But no, I mean you're right. Zay Jones is looking at least 8 targets a game. I know last week against Denver, it's 8. Anyone playing Pat Surtain, just know unless he's not like even Justin Jefferson or some guys like that. Mm-hmm. This guy is a stud. He's a lockdown corner. His dad, it's in his blood. He's got that dog in him. So don't be discouraged. I love Zay Jones. I think going forward, he's a great flex option. And like you said, Pacheco last week, he duped every one of us. He got us. He bamboozled us. He reached in your right pocket and just took the free dub out of your pocket and said, here, give it to your mans. Yeah. Not happening this week.
Yeah, Zay's second in total targets for the Jags, only 9 behind Christian Kirk. He's got 50 on the year. But he's only got that 1 receiving touchdown, but he should still see the field a lot more. He'll still see a lot more volume over Isaiah Pacheco. Do you guys give the Jets a chance today? I'm going to give the Jets a chance today because we saw that guy who flipped the quarter and predicted. He's been spot on with the Jets schedule this year. He posted it on Twitter there. He flipped a coin for every game, and so far he's been 8 for 8 He's got the Jets beating the Bills today with that lucky coin that he's
I'm
flipped.
betting
So
that just to bet it. I'm
I'm gonna
gonna.
give him a chance because I mean it's any given Sunday, and the Jets are a frisky team.
I don't know what it is. I mean, I know the contract in our contract says we have to like the Jets if we're gonna work here. But outside of that, I mean, I think they have a really good chance, and I think Buffalo is a team that is getting closer and closer to a trap game. Like they're just winning, and they're like the Packers game was a good game, but it was still sloppy. I feel like if the Jets, which they can and they have, play better than what the Packers played, I I wouldn't be surprised if they win this game like 31-28 or like some 31. So it's like a close game, but I think the Jets have the offense to do it. I think Zach Wilson has to just man up and has to just start making plays. That's the only thing holding this Jets back from being a one-loss team is Zach Wilson's decision making.
Yeah.
They have everything else. I mean, I know they lost
Yeah.
Brees Hall, but like you have everything else. Just be smarter, Zach. It's a smart defense, and if they can play well and he plays turnover-free football, the Jets, man, it's gonna be. Oh, if they pull this off, it's gonna be
Uh,
crazy.
they miss Brees Hall probably just as much as I do. He brings another level to that offense. And then the Gastoon says, I have a take up. Zach Wilson has better quarterback rating than Josh Allen post game. Agree or disagree? I'm gonna hit the disagree on that one right now on my phone. You could see the take right there. There it is. Zach Wilson. Right now, it's leaning 6 on the disagree side and 2 on the agree side. I'm going to hit disagree on that one right now.
Mm. You know
There you
what?
go. I'm in on that take, the Gastoon. There you go. Nice little kitty there. As much as I want the Jets to win, just so that guy with that quarter his prediction can be legit and continue throughout the year. I mean, that quarter predicted the Jets to lose, I believe, in the AFC Championship, which would be absolutely electricity. But there you go. I disagreed on that take. Good luck though, because the agree side is gonna cash out if it hits. Caden Casemiro, do I start Terry McLaurin or Chris Olave in PPR? Olave drawing the Baltimore Ravens, and you got Terry McLaurin, who has seen a resurgence through the Taylor Heineke emergence. So you got to take on one or the other here.
Oh yeah, give me all of Scary Terry.
Scary Terry.
The second Heineke came in, I knew it was all season. I was just waiting. I did not like the Carson Wentz situation. I don't get why they didn't like Tyler Heineke. I don't get it. He does nothing but produce. I think Heineke going forward knows his targets. He knows his guys. He knows who he needs to win with. And the guy you just paid millions and millions of dollars to, Chris or Terry McLaurin, is that guy. He knows it. And going forward, I think Scary Terry is a top 15 receiver. They're most likely going to be down in a lot of games. Or it's going to be like, the occasional game where they're winning. But Scary Terry is the pivotal part of that offense. And I think Olave, as good as he is, he's really all they have left. So let's put Marcus Peters. Let's put someone on that guy, and let's just double team him, and then have to deal with the rest of the guys that are on that team. So I think going with McLaurin is better. Another guy I think, though, is a sleeper on the Saints offense is the receiver. I might say his name wrong. Is Shaheed
Rashid?
Yeah. That guy, I think, is going to be
quick.
He's going to be a good rest of the season receiver with all these injuries. So if he's on your waiver, which he most likely will be, because it's like 92% of team or leagues have him out there, pick him up. Michael Thomas is out. Landry's getting old. Olave is good, but he can't be the only guy there. And Kamara can't see 100 catches a game, which I would love. But hey,
well,
he could.
Let's not get too crazy. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves here, Steph.
But I know McLaurin, I think, rest of this season is top 15. Olave is good. I just feel like they're going to get into a lot of situational games where he's just going to be phased out.
Yeah. I mean, if you could start both. I got both of them finishing in my top 10 over the past 2 games for Terry McLaurin with Taylor Heineke. 16 targets, 11 receptions, 186 yards, and a touchdown. His average depth of target is well above a first down rate. So he's getting targeted high, and then his yards after the catch are almost second to none. And then you got Chris Olave, who is lighting the field on fire with his speed. He's second in the league in total air yards, and he's facing a team that is allowed a league high 16 completions of 20 plus air yards on the season. So if you can start both of those guys, both have big boom potential. Stephen Joe, what up? In a rough spot due to injuries and buys, Dante Hilliard, Jerick McKinnon, or Justice Hill, half PPR. I would say rough spot is the proper way to define what you got going on here. You got Hilliard on the Titans, McKinnon on the Chiefs, or Justice Hill on the Ravens, with Gus Edwards out. If I'm going to rank these guys, I'm probably going to go Hill, Hilliard, and then McKinnon.
Give me, this is tough. Give me Hilliard, McKinnon, and Hill, because I think that whole Derrick Henry injury news earlier in the week, kind of, I feel like they might just go, hey, you know what? Let's just slow his roll, because they abused him last week, and we were right about that. Like, that was the Derrick Henry game. I think Hilliard might have more of a passing presence and more like a 10 rush game, because you don't want to abuse Derrick Henry. It was literally this time around last year that we lost Derrick Henry because of the overuse up to that broken foot.
Yeah.
So I think the Titans going into tonight's game, and they know they can beat, or not even beat the Chiefs, but like compete with the Chiefs without having to run Derrick Henry 1,000 times.
Yeah.
25 times is fine, but 1,000 is too much.
Yeah. And surprisingly, Hilliard is third in team targets total throughout the season. Robert Woods is by far the top target on that offense. And if Willis does start, that's where I would probably put Hilliard above Hill in that spot, because they're not gonna put too much on Willis throwing the ball, as we saw last week versus the Chiefs. So last week we saw that. This week versus the Chiefs, I don't see him throwing the ball that much either. So Hilliard could be the good spot there. And if it's a half PPR, he should see a decent amount of targets and reception. So he can give you what you need. He might only hit 5 to 7 fantasy points at the end of the week, but that's more than probably what the other guys are going to say.
Yep.
Would you guys roll out Taysom Hill or Isaiah Likely? I'm going to roll Isaiah Likely there.
Yeah, I'm likely to put him in there as well. I just don't think that. Listen, I like Taysom Hill, but man, the guy it's literally sporadic. It's like he gets you either 7 points or he gets you 27 points. Yeah. I think Likely is. I'm not gonna make more puns. They're loaded in my head, but I think Likely is rest of the season too. I think they're gonna just be like, hey, listen, the guy was Thursday Night Football. I think was a huge, like, okay, this is a guy that's ready to go for us. They needed that Likely game, and that was the game last week against the Bucs. I think going forward, he is likely the tight end 2 this season. I think he might float around 3, but likely over Taysom Hill, I think, every week. Because Taysom Hill, I watch these Saints games only because I have Kamara in a bunch of leagues, and I just see him either somehow the defense is like, yeah, let him score, and sometimes they want to play defense. Yeah, I think you're more likely to get more points from him than you would Taysom Hill on a weekly consistent basis, even with Mark Andrews here. If he's in the lineup or not, I think going forward they're going to use both tight ends. The Andrew debatement really sucks, and it's going to make, like, you know how New England back in the day in 2010, they had Aaron Hernandez and they had Gronk, and that dual tight end set was electric. Mm-hmm. So I expect almost the same kind of offense going forward from the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that would stop me this week from playing Likely is how stout the New Orleans Saints have been versus the position. Tight ends are averaging only 3.25 points on the year. No tight end has hit over 50 yards receiving against the Saints. No tight end has scored a touchdown against the Saints on the year. There's only been one guy who's got even close to 50 yards, and that's Noah Fant with his 49. Every other guy has pretty much hit under 20 yards just by looking at it here. Zach Ertz, 21 yards. Foster Moreau, 31 yards. So no touchdowns from the tight end against the Saints, and no one's hit over 50 yards. So They have been great against the tight end, but have they really faced a tight end? I mean, they faced Kyle Pitts week 1, and he only had 2 receptions for
9
19
yards.
yards. So
Ugh.
yeah, 19 yards. Yeah, so not that great. Again, most likely gonna line up
Can't even punt
as
it.
a wide receiver for a lot of the game. He's probably going to see a lot of those snaps lining up as a wide receiver, and volume based, he's going to see the ball a lot just because of what they got going on there in the wide receiver room for the Baltimore Ravens. And we know what you're going to get out of Taysom Hill. He's going to see snaps at tight end. He's going to see snaps at wide receiver. He's going to see snaps at running back. He's going to see snaps at quarterback. So that usage might get him this week at least above likely in terms of tight end finishes. But Isaiah Likely is going to see a ton of volume. I just don't know if he's going to be able to get the job done against a Saints defense that is second in the league against the position. So they have been locking down tight ends this year, and I don't really see this week changing. So I might roll with Taysom Hill just this week.
You guys smell the bias on that hat of his? Jeez.
I try to keep that out of the analysis here, Stevan, except when we're talking Saints Bucks. But who do I start full PPR? Donta Foreman at flex or Christian Kirk? I'm going to roll Donta Foreman at the flex here. Keep it simple.
Not even.
No Hubbard. We saw what he can do when given the full workload. Multiple TDs coming his way. I think Splash has a take up there right now that he's gonna see, I believe, two tutties, I think is the take on the uSTADIUM app. So if you want to get in on that, he's expecting Donta Foreman to have a big. Here it is here. Foreman rushes for 2+ TDs in an overtime game between Carolina and Cincinnati. So
what is the bet for him to score 2 touchdowns at right
2
now?
tutties right there. 2 tutties for Foreman. I'm rolling Foreman. I like Christian Kirk in that offense. I think he's going to see a ton of targets. He's the leading target player for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but Donta Foreman, running back, I'm looking for them to take Cincinnati's offense out of the game and try to run the ball down their throats to keep it close. So I'm going to go Donta Foreman over Christian Kirk.
100%. Now, I listen, this Donta Foreman is what we expected in Houston the first time around. Once that Achilles hit, it was sad, but we knew that this kid, if he was healthy and had time, he's a stud. And now he's proving that he's a stud.
Yeah, 5 years out from that Achilles injury, and he's shown.
You can return back from the Achilles. It just takes 5 years.
It just takes a while. Yeah. Tegan Peterson, Isaiah Likely, or I'm guessing that's Khalil Herbert.
Yep, Khalil Herbert. I had that question earlier this week, so I waited to see what you would think, because I think I would go Likely. I know volume is there, but do you trust the Herbert, like Montgomery, rough patch? It doesn't matter who gets the ball because they're both going to get at least 10 carries. It's just you get that one touchdown or that one big play.
It's a tough backfield to predict. I think even for the Chicago Bears, it's a tough backfield to predict. Herbert's looked like the better running back when given the opportunity for the Chicago Bears. I know he fits that system a little better in Chicago than David Montgomery. I was kind of hoping they moved Montgomery at the deadline. I know it was highly unlikely for that to happen. My only thing is I'm going to lean Khalil Herbert over Isaiah Likely because of how good the New Orleans Saints are against the tight end position. For me, I'm gonna take the guy with probably the safer floor in Khalil Herbert. But if I'm chasing a big boom day, if I'm hoping for a big boom day, I might lean Likely here. I just don't see it happening versus that defense.
Okay. I mean, you're right. I mean, numbers don't lie. I mean, Herbert has been the better back, but he has been capped on his carries. Yeah. So, but like you said, I think Herbert has a good explosive potential over Likely, because your Saints, albeit, are a good defensive team still, and they know how to stop the one option that's really
they're a good defense against the tight end.
That's what I was going with.
And then if you're looking at the Bears offense as a whole, it's a dead heat. It's dead even when it comes to total rushes. Khalil Herbert's got 90. David Montgomery's got 89. You're looking at red zone red zone rushes, Khalil Herbert 18, David Montgomery 16. You're looking at touchdowns, Khalil Herbert 4, David Montgomery 2. Well, David Montgomery holds the edge when it comes to team targets. So if you're looking at targets, David Montgomery 14, Khalil Herbert 7. So he's beating him there in the passing game. So I'm going to lean Khalil Herbert over Isaiah Likely this week, just because I think he is taking over that role as the RB1 in that running back room. Javon Tyson, do you think Jameson Williams is still worth stashing? I think he's worth stashing on your IR if you have the IR spot. If you don't have the IR spot, you can drop Jameson Williams.
God, it just feels like, when your dad tells you can go like outside and play. That's how I just felt when you said you can drop Jameson Williams. Like, listen, I love the guy, and Detroit has just been so not. They've been bad, but we knew this was going to happen. And if listen, this is not even speaking fantasy terms. If the Lions were a smart organization and they are kind of subpar when it comes to being smart, they would just let the kid come back next year. Don't even. What are you going to play for? What? Please, you're going to play for 2 wins? No, just let the guy come back next year. Let that knee heal. The offensive potential for this Lions team the next 2 years, it's insane. Why ruin a guy's career just because you want him to go out there and play? If you guys are in the playoff hunt, you needed a receiver, something like that, fine, I get it. But Jameson, just stay off the field. I think in fantasy, it was a good dream, but I think we have to just come back next year and just, hopefully we don't get sniped on the guy, because I think he is a stud. But we're just a year or two early, just like, the whole John Mechie thing. There's a lot of guys that are coming back next year that are going to be healthier, that are going to be more to the league. And I think Jameson Williams is one of those guys.
Yeah. Legacy, Likely, Hill, or Ingram for a tight end? Evan Ingram, Taysom Hill, or Isaiah Likely? We've talked about the difference between Likely and Hill. And then we're going to get into Evan Ingram. Would you start Evan Ingram over either one of these guys this week? Evan Ingram is drawing the Las Vegas Raiders. He's been involved in the passing game for the Jags over the past couple weeks. He's seen some decent targets. The Raiders against the tight end have the 4th worst defense. They are allowing the 4th most points. Tight ends are averaging 10.14 fantasy points for against the Las Vegas Raiders. So he is probably, if you're basing it just on math, has the best chance for output over the other 2 guys. I like Hill's ability to line up and where they use him in different positions. I just don't like his snap counts. It's not that great. Would you start Ingram over the other 2 at all, or are you rolling Likely no matter what?
I mean, I'm more than likely to. Sorry, I can't help myself. Listen, you were right. Like I said, the whole Saint situation, the Hill situation, but Evan Ingram, like the last 4 games, has seen 30 targets.
Yeah,
has caught almost 22 of those catches, over 200 yards. Yes, he has 1 touchdown, but this guy is I don't understand. This guy's a tight end stud, and I say that because everything else above, we know who. It's you got to pay for it. But a guy like Ingram, nobody drafted Ingram. I know nobody did. This guy is a waiver wire tight end because no one liked brick hands in East Rutherford. He comes here. Trevor Lawrence has got to find new love with him. I mean, the guy looks like he's aged 40, 50 years with his player profile, but he's still young, and he's still getting catches. He's still getting looks. I mean, against the Chargers a while back, should have had another touchdown. So I think Evan Ingram going forward is a solid tight end 2/3. He's not Dallas Goedert, but he is better than a lot of other guys. And if you have him, I would not mind starting him every week for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But if you have Likely, just wait, because I said, like, if Andrews is out and Likely has one of those, if he does ball out, I think Likely rest of the season, tight end 2 situation. If he doesn't, that's why I would say roll the brakes back a little bit, see how he does against a good tight end defense, and then see going forward. But Ingram, by all means, you have to hold on to him because he is a focal point, one of the focal points of that offense. And I can't believe I'm saying that in 2022 when for the last 2-3 years I've been calling the guy brick hands, butterfingers here and there. The guy couldn't catch a ball to save his life. You couldn't pay him enough to catch a ball. It seems like Jacksonville had the right number and now he's catching everything.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with Roland Ingram just based on what he does in that offense. He's third in total team targets for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he's second in total receiving TDs. They use him quite a bit in the red zone as well, so I'm good with Roland Ingram there. Eduardo Baskerville, Curtis Samuel, or Adam Thielen?
I've got a feeling that it's going to be Adam Thielen.
Ooh.
I think that it's going to be. I don't like when I'm like Curtis Samuel. You were right. It's like, is this guy going to finally come down to earth? Is it like because what we saw the first 3 weeks of the season? That was not Curtis. That's not Curtis Samuel. I'm sorry, that's not what he is. What we see now is kind of what he is because no one knows what to do with the guy. Adam Thielen's been a focal point for the offense. He's been that guy for the last 4 or 5 years. Him and Diggs, now him and Jefferson. He's a great receiver too. And I would start Thielen over, I think, anyone outside of 25. So 25 and up, give me Adam Thielen. 25 and down, I wouldn't take anyone from 1 to 25. From 26 to like 50, give me Adam Thielen because he's consistent. He's old, but Kirk Cousins has been slinging the rock, sadly, and I can't believe I'm saying that either.
There you go. Good luck. Hey, guys, full PPR, Jacoby Myers, Rondale Moore, or Deion Jackson? Deion Jackson starting in the role of Jonathan Taylor. We saw what he can do in relief. Nyheim Hines is gone. Jonathan Taylor is out. Deion Jackson, the starter versus the New England Patriots. You got Rondale Moore, who you called booty, I believe, last week.
Oh, my God.
And then he came out and scored 24 fantasy points. Just drop that on you.
They listened to me.
Yeah.
I tell you, Austin Eckler, what happens. The best fantasy day this guy has ever had. Rondale Moore's a bum. Best fantasy day he's ever had. You catch the trend. I'm doing it because there's a reason. So go the opposite way.
Yeah. And then you got Jacoby Myers, who, when Mac Jones is in the game, is the wide receiver 1 for the New England Patriots. The Patriots do draw the Colts. I don't like the matchup this week for Patriots wide receivers. So I'm going to put Jacoby Myers 2, Deion Jackson 1, and Rondale Moore 3.
I'm going to go Deion 1. Yeah, I love this guy. Another guy that you probably picked up earlier in the season and then dropped because JT came back and then someone else scooped him up and now I'm playing against him. I love the kid. I saw what he did with Matt Ryan. I think he's got potential to be, if JT does miss the next 3 to 5 weeks, which I think he should be out because the ankle injury keeps coming back in. You don't want to keep hurting your workhorse guy. Deion Jackson is a stud. This guy can catch 6 catches a game, run the ball 25 times a game, and just be fine. I think Rondale Moore is another PPR reception hog. I'm flipping the script this week. He's back on my love list. He could be, he's in a dud this week, and then I'm going to talk smack about him next week. That's how it goes. Jacoby Myers is catching touchdowns. It's great. So I think if I had to rank them, it's going to be close. Deion's number 1 by a mile.
Yeah, Deion 1, yeah.
Rondale, because it's really just him and Hollywood Brown, and then the targets just rack up for him, and then Myers. Myers and Moore are like almost borderline like teeter-tottering.
Yeah, Myers draws the Colts, who are the number 2 defense against the wide receivers, not letting the wide receivers have very productive days. And then Rondale Moore's got the Seahawks, who are right behind the Colts, the number 3 defense against the wide receiver. So yeah, give me the running back and then the 2 wide receivers. I'd probably lean Jacoby Myers over Rondale Moore, like we said, just based on volume. Jacoby Myers, the number 1 targeted wide receiver for the Patriots, and it's not even close to the number 2 wide receiver, who's Devontae Parker, who is out this week. The second total target leader for the Patriots this year is Ramondre Stevenson. So Jacoby Myers is the guy. Adam Blank, I got Titans defense. Keep them or pick up someone else's? And if so, Jags, Raiders, Cards, or Seahawks? I'm not starting the Titans defense versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And if I was to pick, if I'm picking one or the other here, Jags versus the Raiders, Cards versus the Seahawks, and Seahawks versus the Cards. I mean, I'm almost tempted to go Jags versus Raiders here. Just because I don't see, I mean, I see the Cards and the Seahawks having almost a shootout based on what both of those teams can do. And the Raiders, I mean, the donut last week haven't been able to move the ball that great. The Jaguars defense is sneaky decent this year in terms of fantasy. Do you like one over the other here?
Uh, to be honest, I don't like any of these options. But if I had to choose, which I do, I think the Jags. I think the Raiders are proving to us that they are the phonies in the West. They are the
Yeah.
team that's going to implode, and they are imploding. I mean, I don't know if Josh McDaniels is doing like some kind of like psychedelic thing where it's like, hey, let's get Derek Carr and let's get him to suck, so we can ship him next year and get a rookie quarterback. Because last week was I don't think I've ever seen a more worse coached and played game by that team. Like it was not. It was trash. So for the Jags to come in there and they're playing in Jacksonville, I'm going to a game today at 4:00. It's going to be 89 degrees. Humidity makes it up to 90 plus, and it's a 1:00 game in Jacksonville. Coming from a West Coast team,
Yeah.
I think that's another thing that I look at when it comes to matchups, like who's going where and what happened. So the Raiders played last week, got shut out 24-0. Now they got to fly cross country to Jacksonville. Yeah, we know. Fly to Jacksonville after losing to the Saints in the hot, muggy weather. You really think a team in Vegas that has dry heat is going to come to Florida with wet, muggy, swampy alligator water? I think the Jacksonville Jags are going to come out, and they're the better 2-win team out of these two guys. I think the Raiders are going to get put on their ass, and I think Josh McDaniels is going to be on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Raiders, don't start them. Start the Jags. Cardinals and Seahawks, you might attest this. It's week 10 almost. Start looking for playoff and quarterback like matchups. Like I picked up Justin Fields. I'm going to pick up another defense soon to drop some guys that are just worthless and just get those guys, because you want to start getting defenses now before some other guy gets a defense that has the easiest 4-week schedule.
Yep.
So take the Jags now and start looking in a few weeks and start playing, like you said. You even told me, plan a week ahead for a defense. So next week you have a top defense and you don't have to worry about it this week because you are ahead of the game.
Yep, you got it.
Little TED talk.
I'll always be looking a few steps ahead of your opponents.
You taught me that, and it's a rookie mistake. I should have known better, but like ever since then, I've been on top of the game.
Yeah, always. Sit one, Deion Jackson, DeAndre Swift, or Jamal Williams. I'm gonna sit Swift between the three.
Yeah, I think, and like you said, I know the 10 catches or the 10 touches could turn into whatever, but I'd rather take the 25 touches between Williams and Jackson and hope for the best.
Yeah, I think it's been reported that Williams is going to get the start there for the Detroit Lions. So give me Deion Jackson, give me Jamal Williams.
Yep.
Stephen Grease, hey all, battling some buys and injuries. It is a tough bye week. Can you share some thoughts on my flex spot, full point PPR? Alan Lazard, Romeo Dobbs, or Rondale Moore? Thank you. Thoughts?
Come on.
I know you're going to lean Rondale.
I gotta go. I'm going. I'm going because I look at the guy, Lazard and Dobbs. What did Lazard do last week? Nothing.
Well, he was injured.
Exactly. Is he gonna play this week? I mean, do you want that headache? He's on the fence. Rondale Moore is a reception hog.
But the Seattle Seahawks defense is pretty good against the pass. So that Tarek Woolen kid has been locked down. So he should see DeAndre Hopkins for most of the day, I would believe. So you might be right there, Rondale Moore. But I'm going to lean Dobbs, man.
Really?
I'm going to lean Dobbs versus the Detroit Lions this week. He is hyper-targeted, but he's just not catching the ball as much as I would like. Even if Lazard does play and sees a limited amount of snaps, I'm going to go Dobbs, Moore, Lazard. I got Dobbs and Moore closely ranked this week, but I'm going to lean Dobbs there versus the Detroit Lions in a game where Green Bay Packers have to win. They have to win. If they do not win this game, it's over for the Packers. So I could see them throwing the ball a ton and Romeo Dobbs being the lead target, the lead fantasy point guy in that game this week.
See this is where my Detroit Lions bias comes in. I think Jeff Okuda knows who to guard. I know we have the 32nd ranked scoring defense. You could score at will. You could score at freaking a one-legged Rashad Penny on us if you knew. But you gotta look. You said it. What, Seattle was a good defense? Like, yeah, but Rondell Moore still saw 10 targets and 6 catches for 49 yards. The yardage wasn't there, I know, but 6 catches and 10 targets with I think that was when Hollywood was still good, right? Was that 3 weeks ago? I just don't trust Dobbs. I like the guy. I like him. I think this guy should be Aaron Rodgers' guy. He just looks like a rookie, like a flat out pure rookie. And Lazard, I don't trust.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Who was that other guy they had that caught that deep last touchdown?
Samari Toure.
Be on the lookout. Rodgers really, really liked what he saw from that guy because I didn't see Rodgers smile a lot this season or be happy about a lot of things. But when he threw that dime, he's like, okay, this kid could be something. So just keep that name in mind. Don't pick him up or anything, but just if he does good, just come back to me.
Yep. Mark Kearns, who best available player in the NFL fantasy up that will put up points?
Cooper Kupp. Justin Jefferson. I don't know. I mean,
best available player
I'm gonna
in
put
the
a
NFL
smart
fantasy up that will put up points.
Oh, who's the high? I think he's saying who do we think is going to be the highest scorer today in fantasy? I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to go ahead and say that Justin Jefferson has his breakout game where he has.
Yeah, my wide receiver won on the week.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think he comes out. He's only had 2 touchdowns this season. That sucks, but he's got a lot of good yards and catches. But I think he gets the yards, touchdowns, and catches this week, and I'm firing him up on all leagues.
Yeah,
I'm
me too.
saying that because I want Mark to know that that's who we think is going to be the guy.
Yeah. Preston Bourgeois. Do I start Leonard Fournette or Raheem Mostert? I'm going to go. I mean, the rush offense for the Bucs just hasn't been there this year. They got the Rams. I'm going to lean Raheem Mostert over Leonard Fournette this week. I like that the Miami Dolphins got rid of Chase Edmonds. Raheem Mostert does have Jeff Wilson in the backfield, but I don't think Jeff Wilson's going to see a high amount of usage in today's packages for the Miami Dolphins. So I'm going to lean Raheem Mostert over Leonard Fournette only because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers rush offense is, I think, rated near last, if not last. So
64 yards a game, baby.
Give me Raheem Mostert there. I do not like the matchup for Leonard Fournette. Defeat solo. Should I start Swift with limited capacity? If you have no other options, you are starting Swift with limited capacity. A limited capacity Swift is a mid to high range running back too. So you're starting Swift with limited capacity.
Really quick, I got someone that actually texted me and he's like, I can't watch the show, but I need your help really quickly.
Yep.
Gus Edwards is out. No shocker. Drake or Herbert?
I'm going to go Drake.
Drake? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go Drake. Tegan Peterson, Lazard, or Palmer? I'm going to go Palmer. He's the wide receiver 1 for the Chargers there. So give me Palmer over
AJ Terrell. That's the one thing that I know you do as well. If that cornerback 1 is out, you better believe I'm firing whatever the receiver 1 is on the opposite side. Or that, on that
exactly.
Side.
Yep. I'm starting Palmer up there. In honor of DST today, what DST scores the most points today?
Today, DST day. Now you know that's a thing. All right, whatever. It's DST day.
DST.
I want to say the Carolina Panthers are going to just let up a lot of, just going to get scored on a lot by the Bengals defense. I want to say that, but it seems like it's too much of a easy poke. So I'm going to stay away from the Bengals. And to be honest, you're probably looking at me the wrong way when I say this. I think the one defense on the waiver wire that's sitting there that no one even looks at is the Chargers. I think the Chargers, if they're there for you on that waiver wire, it's a good pickup because Atlanta's Atlanta. They're going to have turnovers. They're going to have fumbles. They're going to have bad plays. They're going to have whatever it is that they have in Atlanta. I think the Chargers defense is one of those defenses that will be at the end of the day probably a fumble recovery or a pick six, and we'll finish with a top 5 today. Chargers defense.
I'm gonna go Bills. As much as I want to see the
Oh, you're
Jets
so
beat the,
cliche.
as much as I want to see the Jets beat the Bills, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Bills versus the Jets there, only because of Zach Wilson's lack of mindfulness when he's throwing the
Lack of
ball away.
anything.
Yeah, it's
I
just
want
like
Joe Flacco back. I'm
yeah, the
sorry,
cramps, the brain
Frankie.
cramps is just what drives me nuts. Joey G, Evan Ingram, or Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts has been pretty good the past few starts for him. Evan Ingram is one of the good targets there for the Jags, but I'm gonna lean Pitts, man.
Yeah, I can't do that, man. Listen, I love Ingram. We just talked about how he is top 3 in targets for the Jags, but Kyle Pitts still got that unicorn. He still got the
Yeah,
unicorn.
he's still, yeah, yep.
And I
Yeah,
think
I'm gonna
going
lean.
forward, he's like, we know he, like, Jacoby Myers, how long did it take for this kid to actually become what he is now? It took a while. Kyle Pitts, sadly enough, is not liked by his team. But I think going forward, they know if they're going to want to win, they're going to have to go through him.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna roll Pitts there. What's the cat's name? That's to you, Steph.
Oh, that's my girlfriend's cat, Gavin. And then we have her other cat, Steven, on the window still looking out. They're never around when I'm doing this. So the fact that he came and sat there was great. So that is Gavin Xavier. That's what she calls him. So.
There you go. Frankie, our boy Frankie. What's up, fellas? Who are some super deep flex sleepers that you like this week? I got 2 for you. DeAndre Carter, wide receiver for the Chargers, with the desecration of the Chargers wide receiver room. DeAndre Carter could see a good amount of volume and targets alone. And he's probably a guy that's most likely not owned in a lot of leagues. So DeAndre Carter 1. And then if you need a deep, I guess it'd be a deep sleeper, tight end, Cole Kmet for the Chicago Bears, who has seen a good amount of volume over the past couple weeks. So those are 2 of mine. Steph, you got any for the boss man?
Okay, don't fire me for this one. Van Jefferson.
Woo.
And this, okay, he just got traded. I think he faked the injury the entire time. He wanted to leave New York. I think Kadarius Toney comes out, and I don't know if you've ever. I don't know if it's a show or it's a picture where the guy. Oh, it's the Willy Wonka one where he's walking on the limping, and he gets traded to the Chiefs, and he rolls over. And it's like, hey, I think Kadarius Toney is gonna have at least a touchdown today. I think he's gonna be. I just think he's faking it. He doesn't say. He will never come out and say he faked it. But come on, bro. We know when Eli Manning didn't want to go to LA, what did he do? He made sure he got out of LA.
Yeah.
What did you do? You got out of New York. And I think this is the guy they were missing. I know it's ludicrous. It's stuff out of your whatever. But just if he does it, I told you so. And Kadarius Toney could be the piece that Mahomes wants. Like, he's that small, short, quick, fast guy.
He's got two Kadarius Toneys.
Yeah, and Pacheco is smoke and mirrors right now, buddy. So yeah. I know it's insane, but it's super duper sleeper. I got to give you something.
Yeah, no, I like it. Joe Hamilton, what's up, gents? Got 2 questions. Full PPR, start Ertz or Pitts, and Garrett Wilson or Khalif Raymond.
Give me Pitts and give me Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's receiver 1. Now he is finally the receiver 1.
Even in the matchup versus the Bills?
I don't care.
Okay. I like it.
Khalif Raymond is not.
I like the confidence. I'm not going to provide anything on that. I like the confidence. Garrett Wilson and Kyle Pitts.
I love me some Garrett Wilson this year too. And I got so much shit for taking him in the 10th round. So everyone's like, "What are you taking this guy for? He's a scrub." I started him last week over DK Metcalf, and he outscored DK Metcalf. I don't want to hear it. This guy is a stud. He's going to get his. It's just that if Cramp Boy Wilson is, I don't know if he's spending too much time at houses. If you don't catch my vibe, is he staying up late? Is he not getting enough sleep? The
Mom's Club.
Yeah, is he in the Mom's Club too much? He's not in the Jets organization. Come on, Zach.
I like it. Good luck, Joe. Panda XV, Gino or A-Rod,
I
Garrett Wilson
never,
or Dobbs?
never thought that we would have to be put in a situation where we say Geno Smith and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Garrett Wilson
tough.
easy, but Geno Smith over A-Rod is kind of.
Geno Smith has been one of the best quarterbacks on the
I
year
love
so
it, and
far.
he's a waiver pickup. You could have had him
Yep.
on. You could have been like, you know what? I don't need a quarterback. I'll find someone, and you could have found Geno Smith, and it would have been love at first sight.
My only thing there with Aaron Rodgers is the matchup, but
Yeah.
I mean they got to get it going. Palmer or Lazard PPR. I'm gonna go Palmer
Yep.
over Allen Lazard. Again, Palmer, no AJ Terrell. The matchup, the wide receiver one for the Chargers. Chargers off the bye week, the fresh legs. Hopefully they do something with that game plan in order to right the season for the Chargers. But I'm gonna lean Palmer.
I like Palmer all day. I like him and Carter, I think, all day. And then I'm just going to take it right now. Give me Khalil Herbert.
Ooh, Khalil.
You're telling me, because what the numbers that you said, red zone, the touches, the yards, everything. And I know if Swift breaks off 10 touches for 100 yards, hey, listen, it happens and it happens. But, like, are you really going to bank off? It's like saying you have a gun and you're going to shoot 10 shots. And you have to hit one of those shots. I think Swift this week misses the entire target. I think last week was the week he did with the 10 touches, a touchdown thing. This week, I really think they just do limit him because they want him to come back. And they're not going to hurt the guy. And then, again, their season it's over. So don't be surprised if they do cut him out of the entire offense in the next few weeks.
Yep.
If he can't heal up and he can't get better, DeAndre Swift could just be, hey, we're going to call it, buddy. And we know we wanted this year to be good for you, but next year will be the year we progress.
Yeah,
Khalil Herbert,
yep.
They're in a team that they know what they have. They have draft picks next year. They want to see what this kid has to do. If it was David Montgomery, different story. Last year in the contract, it's like we don't care what you do. We just can get rid of you anyways. Khalil Herbert's got to prove that he has to be the RB1 for them going into next year by proving it for the next 7 weeks.
Yeah, and both Schefter and Rappaport have come out to say that the Lions are going to limit the usage of DeAndre.
They're literally telling you, or say, hey, we're limiting him. Not like it's not like a hocus pocus. We're like, oh, we limit him and gets 25 carries. They're literally preparing you. Like, listen, don't expect much, and we're telling you the same thing. There's no smoke and mirrors. It's just be very cautious with starting DeAndre Swift this week.
Agreed. Should I trade James Conner, George Pickens for DeAndre Swift?
Maybe just Conner for Swift, straight up.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Swift is you want to have Swift on your fantasy rosters. It's just like you said, if they decide to possibly shut him down, if he re-injures his AC joint and his shoulder, I mean, a shoulder injury for a running back is never any good. So if you're trading for Swift, you want to trade for a healthy Swift. James Conner may miss this week, but he's expected to come back into the fold for the Arizona Cardinals. And then you got Pickens, who is now the wide receiver 2 for the Pittsburgh Steelers with the trade of Trace Claypool to the Chicago Bears. So I like Pickens and Conner's side only because we're not sure what Swift's usage is going to be rest of season. If you could guarantee me that DeAndre Swift is going to get RB1 usage for the rest of the season, I'm going to lean DeAndre Swift. And then if you're looking at Pickens's rest of season schedule, he's got New Orleans, which is a good spot for wide receivers, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, which are okay spots for wide receivers. And then the playoff stretch, and the stretch into the playoffs, he's got Atlanta, Baltimore, Carolina, Las Vegas, and then Baltimore again. All great matchups for wide receivers. And you know the Steelers are going to enjoy playing spoiler for some of these teams throughout the rest of the season. So I'm okay with that trade. I don't love it because you're getting Swift there, but what's Swift gonna be for you week 13? Is he even gonna be playing week 13? Are they gonna shut him down? Right?
Yeah, he is basically James Conner. I don't know if you want to agree. Like they are basically like it's an apple with an apple.
Yep.
Guys who can catch, guys who are injury prone easily, and guys who can rush and get you 10 for a touchdown, but Like you just spoke facts, and that's why I'm like,
Yeah.
if
It's
it was
it's
a
it's a
healthy,
tricky spot. I mean, I would make the trade, sure, if I knew I was getting like RB1, DeAndre Swift, I'm pulling the trigger on that, no problem.
do
But
you take like risks like that a lot though? Like when you're making a trade and you know you're going to be in the playoffs, do you go, okay, I'm going to go for a guy like Swift because I know what he brings, but you want to take that risk that he gets it together? Like is it worth it for you if you're a winning team, or you just stay with the team you have and you go, listen, I like the team I have. I
I'm
don't want to make
rolling,
any.
buddy.
You
Yeah,
rolling?
I'm
Okay,
rolling. I'm rolling.
just making
What it
sure.
do, baby? That's all timer for a Toronto guy like me. Johnny H shafted me not announcing Bateman injury till Thursday. So wire is dry with Waller out. Would you go Moreau or Otten at tight end? I'm going to go Moreau there. He saw some decent usage and relief for Waller the past game. So I'm going to go Foster.
Gosh, I'm gonna go Kate Otten. I
Yeah?
think with what's his name, Cameron Braid out. I think every week that he is in the offense, he gets more acclimated with Brady. I know the
Mm-hmm.
offense has been trash. Trust me, every week I look at it. I think this is the week they come back. They go, listen, it's a mini bye week for them. They needed the time off. The Thursday night game gives you like that extra 3 day rest. There's no way this offense gets any worse than it was. And I think Cade Otten is one of those guys. I, listen, Saints fans. I know. I witnessed the worst of the worst last year. That Saints 9-0 game. I watched every game this week. We have just been putrid. But Cade Otten has been a bright side for Tom Brady because when he has started, he's been with 6 catches for 60 yards 2 weeks ago. He's getting familiar, and a tight end never works out week one or year
Mm-hmm.
one unless you're a goat or like you're the god of tight ends. Foster Moreau, he is the a victim of a bad offense, which is why I think production wise, they will not give him the ball as much as they should because they're probably going to be down and they're probably going to be locking up their receivers. The only guy you can't lock up is Devontae Adams. So outside of Devontae Adams, it's like, okay, this guy is going to score on you. But Foster Moreau, what did he do last week?
I think he had 3 for 40 or 4 for
Yeah, I mean,
30.
if you're
So
okay with 3 for 40, fine. But
yeah.
I think Kate Otten has a higher upside to get you, 5, 6 catches because they're going to throw the ball, I think, 40 to 50 times.
Mm-hmm.
And that Rams deep offense is a high-powered offense still. They can still score on any second. So I
Yeah.
expect this Rams Bucks game to be a high-scoring game. And there's no way Kate Otten doesn't come out and give you at least 6 points.
Well, Stefan.
Oh God, I hate when you do this. You let me go on and you make me think. I'm like, all right, I got him right where I want him, and then he goes, "Oh,
Uh,
buddy."
well, buddy, tight ends versus the Rams are only averaging 3.86 points. And that number is inflated because last week we saw George Kittle go off with 101 yards, I believe, in a touchdown, 16
Oof.
total fantasy points. On the year, the 7 tight ends that have faced the Los Angeles Rams, week 1, the tight end scored 0 points. Week 2, the tight end scored 2 points. Week 3, the tight end scored 4 points. Week 5, the tight end scored 2 points. Week 4, the tight end scored 2 points. Week 5, the tight end scored 0 points. Week 6, the tight end scored 2 points. And then this past week, week 8, the tight end scored 16 points. So it has not looked good for tight ends against the Rams. That is the only reason why I'm going to go with Foster Moreau verse.
I swear, if Kate Otten catches a touchdown, I'm blowing your DMs.
I mean, tight ends versus the Jags haven't fared much better, averaging only 5.75 points per game. So I mean, it's a pick your poison at
Yeah,
that
it's you want
point.
a 2 point potential.
Flip a coin, yeah, flip a coin. Mark Kearns, I was wondering on the best available free agent that would score. My apologies,
Uh,
Mark. I do not play any fantasy on the NFL fantasy app. I wouldn't be able to pull that up for you because it is you do. I feel sorry for you, pal. It is I guess it would be league specific as well based on who's available in your leagues. But if you're talking deep sleeper, we brought them up. My DeAndre Carter and Cole Kmet, and Stefan's was
it was Kadarius Tony.
most likely not on waivers, right?
But what I'm going to tell you though, I'm looking. I it's funny because I'm a degenerate. I have NFL fantasy app. Uh, Terrace Marshall, KJ Osborne, and one other guy that you were like, what? Tom Kennedy,
Ooh.
the Lions guy. They brought him back up for a reason. I think Marshall,
Preseason
KJ
star.
Osborne, Tom Kennedy are some guys. Maybe if you're in a bad situation. Also,
Mm-hmm.
Marquez Callaway, your
Yep.
boy.
Yep. My boy.
Whenever he seems to be like these guys are out, or Rashid Shaheed, go for those kind of guys. Go for guys that don't have receivers that will get you maybe like a 50-yard bomb pass, catch, touchdown. You let 12 points. Don't worry about them. If I had to ruin or rate them, give me Terrace Marshall first. Give me actually Shaheed second because I think that the guy is pure speed. He's good. I think the injuries will do well. And then give me KJ Osborne and Tom Kennedy. So those are guys I would go after if I were you. If you need a big pickup, a big injury happen, or whatever like that. See, that's why you keep
Do
all these NFL apps up, bro. You never know when you need a real app.
exactly. The only app you do need though is the uSTADIUM app. So make sure you're downloading that uSTADIUM app and leaving a 5-star review.
Better.
Do I start Khalil Herbert over Jamal Williams? Opponent has DeAndre Swift, who's questionable. I'm going to roll Jamal Williams over Khalil Herbert this week. I like what Khalil Herbert brings to the table, but I believe Jamal Williams is going to finish above Khalil Herbert on the week.
Yeah, I like that. I think, listen, when Jamal Williams has played, he's scored multiple touchdowns multiple times. I
Yep.
think they know what they get with him, and they know that once it gets into the 10, 5-yard line, Jamal puts his shoulder down and will get what he can get. So
Yep.
give me Jamal over Khalil.
Yep.
Khalil's close, but if Khalil goes off this week, I truly think that it's going to be his season. It's going to be his rock, his ball, everything.
Yep. Should I start Khalil Herbert over David Montgomery? That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
You can have this one. I want to say Herbert, but I feel like Montgomery's not bad. It's just for some reason he's not getting it going.
Mm-hmm.
Give me.
I'm gonna lean Herbert. I'm gonna lean Herbert.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lean Herbert.
All right. I don't want to make it complicated for you.
Yeah. I'm gonna lean Herbert. Start Josh Palmer over DeAndre Swift. Whoa. I mean, this
Go ahead.
is one of those questions that you're just like, man, like, am I really doing this?
Can Josh Palmer see 10 targets though?
Yes, I believe he could.
Okay. So in 10 targets that we just said DeAndre Swift might see. So you either get 10, catches and rushes total, or get 10 targets. Do you think Josh Palmer without AJ Terrell, in a lacking offense, they need to score offensively wide receiver wise. So you don't think, I know Herbert can't have the biggest confidence going into this week, but I would go out there and try to make a statement like, listen, I'm going to get 300 yards. I'm getting 3 touchdowns. And I think Josh Palmer's on the end of 100 of those yards and 8.5 of those touchdowns.
Yep. I roll Josh Palmer hesitantly over DeAndre Swift.
It's only because the injury. That's what I hate when an injury happens, because then these guys put us in a situation where it's like, do I put this guy or that guy? And then we have to be like,
yeah. Do I trade Chris Olave for Deebo Samuel full PPR? Yes. You're not making that trade? I think I'm making that trade, man. I'm making that trade for Deebo. As much as I love
Olave. You're trading Olave for Deebo, yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And then start Olave, Palmer, or Deion Jackson. I'm going to go Chris Olave.
Yeah, give me. Oh, no, I'm going Deion Jackson start.
Yeah?
I just love the kid. I think. I don't know what it is. When I watch him play, I'm like, catch, rush.
I just don't know if he'll see as many targets or carries
but who's
with
behind him,
Ellinger playing as the QB over Matt Ryan, because Matt Ryan's not mobile. He is the opposite of mobile, and Sam Ellinger does rush the ball. So I'm gonna lean Olave, Jackson, Palmer.
Do you project Deion Jackson get 22 carries at least? I think he gets 20.
I could see it. I mean, the game script is gonna predict about a lot about what he's gonna get.
And if you look at New England's offense, I mean, New England doesn't have the greatest offense. Like, they're not gonna sit there and just pass for 50 yards. Like, they have an offense that can be stopped. And then you stop the offense, you get back on the field, and you just start running. Like, you see how the Ravens kill that clock, just start running. Yeah. I think Deion and Ellinger can not have a Lamar Jackson thing, but they can kill a lot of the clock against a weaker offense that is New England outside of Stevenson. So I want to see what Olave does, though. So it's on Monday night, though.
Traded Ertz, Foreman, and Deontay for Andrews. Foreman and Deontay were on my bench. Did I do the right thing? I'm going to say, and I'm sorry, DG. I'm going to say no, unless there is a
What is your
supreme
team?
tight end. Yeah. What is your team if those guys are on the bench? So, I mean, Andrews is a tight end one on a weekly basis. If there's a tight end premium, I mean, you're firing that guy up week in and week out. But I mean, Foreman's the guy. Deontay has probably one of the easiest wide receiver schedules rest of season. If you're looking at total targets, I believe it goes Cup, Tyreek Hill, and then the next guy is Deontay Johnson. So the volume is there. What you want is there. Foreman has turned into this RB1. And then you, even with Hubbard on the field, even when Hubbard was healthy, he put up a buck. And then you got Ertz, who is now, I guess, the 2 or 3 receiving option for the Cardinals. So, I mean, when you're always acquiring a guy that can give you 18 to 20 points like Andrews can on a weekly basis, you never want to say you made the wrong move. But looking at it in hindsight, man, I think I'm holding Ertz, Foreman, and Deontay.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I want to see your team. That just kind of like threw me a little bit because Ertz, Foreman, and Deontay are great.
Yeah.
I had Pierce, ETN, Connor. I mean,
yeah, we're looking at that.
Yeah, now
looking at that, you're getting the elite.
Yeah, because you're looking, you're making that. I think he's making that push. He's got that good record. He wants to solidify that Super Bowl winning team he thinks he has, which is listen, Pierce, ETN, Connor, CeeDee Lamb, AJ, and Cup. That is amazing to have. So all to it. So it doesn't look as bad as he did.
He's stacked. Zechariah's Aviation Channel. Yo, guys, wide receiver 2, PPR, Chris Olave, Josh Palmer. I'm going to go Chris Olave.
Yeah, I'm not going to complicate that. I don't care how much I love it. I just want I want Chris Olave to do good. I like the guy.
Yeah. And the Ravens are the worst team against the deep ball. So what's Chris Olave? One of the best wide receivers for the deep ball. So give me that. Explore a connection with the super sticker. We appreciate the donation. Mooney, DeAndre Carter, Zay Jones, or Robert Woods, or Marquez Valdez Scantling. I like Mooney versus Miami. Good matchup. DeAndre Carter is a sleeper for me on the week versus the Atlanta Falcons and how bad a shape the wide receiver room is for the Chargers. Zay Jones, decent option. I'm not putting him over Mooney this week. Robert Woods, the top target for the Tennessee Titans. My only worry is if Ryan Tannehill starts with a hurt ankle or Willis starts, he ultimately drops to the bottom of the list for me. And then you got Valdez Scantling, who I think is going to be affected by the Kadarius Toney trade. So if I'm going to rate them this week, I'm going to go Mooney, Jones, Carter, and then MVS over Woods, only because of the situation at quarterback for the Titans. So I'm going to put Mooney on the top of the list.
I'm going to put Mooney on the top of the list, but by a hair. Of course, DeAndre Carter, process of elimination. You know that team needs receivers. Zay Jones, Robert Woods over MVS. I think the MVS thing he's good, but he's going to revert back to his normal situation because, like I said, the whole Kadarius Toney thing there. I just don't see MVS being a week-to-week guy. So, yeah, give me Mooney, Carter, Zay Jones, Woods, MVS.
Yeah, I think the Claypool trade only is going to make Mooney more productive. So
when he had A-Rob there, what happened? He was a receiver one.
Yep, he was putting in the work. So give me Mooney there. Appreciate it. Deshaun Jackson season this week.
It's 1 week you're due for it.
Yeah.
If you want to take that dart this week, take the dart.
So if you absolutely need Deshaun Jackson to produce for you this week, I mean, you're popping him in.
And he's in a 32-man league, so you know what? It actually makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're starting,
I hope not because it's the Saints, but all he needs is one. Does James Prochet have any value. I mean, he does hold value. But is it a lot of value? I mean, it's minuscule. He was targeted a good amount last week with Rashad Bateman out, Mark Andrews out. You got Devin Duvernay there. I mean, he as a deep sleeper, I'm okay plugging them in. I'm okay plugging James Prochet in.
Yeah. I mean, process of elimination. And injuries happen. People like Prochet will have their days, and Lamar Jackson will give it to anyone that's willing to catch or run the ball.
Yep. Just looking at week 8 with Prochet there with the targets, he was second in team targets behind Isaiah Likely with 5. So he was tied with Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews went down. James Prochet became a part of that offense. He had one more target than Devin Duvernay. So he had the 5 targets. He had the 3 catches, no tutties. Isaiah Likely caught the only tutty there for the Ravens last week. And then he was second in red zone targets for the Ravens as well. So he does hold value. It's not, it's low end wide receiver 3, mid wide receiver 3, maybe flex appeal he's got if you need somebody. So yes, James Prochet does hold some decent value in that offense. Would you go Swift on a limited role or Hines this week? I'm going to go Swift on a limited role over Hines. Hines traded to the Buffalo Bills. They did say that he should see some work in the punt return game. I'm just not putting him over Swift, even on a limited role, because the package that Hines, I believe, is going to be involved in, you're not going to see too much of them in the offense, maybe some third down usage, but Devin Singletary this week for the Bills, Hines should see a increased role as the weeks move on. So give me Swift there.
And that's a situation that we talk about. It's okay. Who would you start over Swift? Hines, a guy like that guy. You're not even so sure that it's going to sit there and do what it can 10 carries, get this guy 20 points.
Yep.
No, Hines is good. I mean, don't get me wrong, but you got Hines, you got Cook, you got Singletary, you got Josh Allen, you got the boys that want to run the ball. So Hines, maybe next week if they feel more comfortable. There's a reason they traded for him though. They didn't go out there and just get him just to get him.
Yeah. James Cook just doesn't look that ready yet. Yeah. So, I mean, he's fast. He's going to get the ball.
He's raw. He's still a raw rookie. And I think Hines comes in, gives them at least, for the rest of the season, they want to win a Super Bowl. Yep. So, they're going to do what they can with this kid. But like you said, Swift, 10 carries, you could do anything with that 10 carries. You don't know what you're going to get, but I'd rather gamble with Swift than gamble with Nyheim Hines this week.
Agreed.
And I'm a gambler, so.
Yeah. MLK 010, start Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins today. I have Jefferson, Lockett, and Palmer starting. I like Kirk Cousins in that offense. I got Justin Jefferson finishing as my wide receiver 1 on the week. I'm expecting a big day for Kirk Cousins. Aaron Rodgers should see an upgrade in what he's been throughout the year versus the Detroit Lions. They are in a must win game. If they lose this game, it's over for the Packers. So I like Kirk Cousins. He's been the better fantasy quarterback on the season. Give me Kirk Cousins.
Oh yeah. If you have Justin Jefferson on your team and all those guys, there's no way I'm picking Rodgers. You got Rodgers he's waiver wire. I'm sorry. Yeah. He's I'd rather have Justin Fields over Aaron Rodgers. I got a lot of heat from that early in the week.
Justin Fields over the past 4 weeks has been the QB2. The QB2. You can't – there is only one other guy better than him, and it's Josh Allen.
Oh, the best quarterback in the league.
So, I mean, he's been QB2. So, if you picked up Justin Fields, I mean, you're playing Justin Fields.
And
Justin Fields
over Tom Brady?
Yes. I haven't been on Tom Brady. I know you're a big Tom Brady, and I tell you week in and week out, Steph, it's over for Brady. The time has come. He hasn't been the issue, though. He threw for 325.
It's just that
threw for 325.
Touchdown.
Rudolph missed. I don't know how he didn't catch that ball there in the end zone last week, but Rudolph, ship him out. Send him to the Australian Football League. He's been horrible. DG, I had Pierce, Etienne Connors at RB. Oh, yeah, I think we mentioned that.
Yeah.
Do I start Tanyan or Likely full PPR? As much as we want to start Isaiah Likely this week, I'm full PPR is what gets me. The full PPR
Right.
is what gets me. Because Isaiah Likely should see a decent amount of targets. It's just if those targets turn into catches, he could ultimately have a better day than Robert Tanyan, who is drawing the Detroit Lions. My only worry is, and we brought this up at the start of the show, there is Likely draws the New Orleans Saints, who are elite at shutting down the tight end. Tight ends versus the Saints are only averaging 3.25 points for against that defense. No tight end has hit over 50 yards. No tight end has scored a touchdown receiving against the New Orleans Saints. And then you're looking at Rob Tanyan, who draws the Lions, and the Lions have been bad against the tight ends. Tight ends are averaging 9.29 points for against the Lions. And there have been 5 tight ends have scored, or 4 tight ends have scored 5 touchdowns against the Lions on the year. I'm going to go Tanyan. Give me Tanyan over Likely just because of the matchup. I know you're going to say Likely. I know how likely you are to say Likely here.
Is it okay? You know what though? Okay, because I was not gonna say Likely. I was gonna say Tanyan because over the last 4 games, 4 for 4, 10 of 12, 3 of 4, 5 of 6. You're telling me this guy has had 22 catches on 27 targets. No touchdowns, which is he had a touchdown in week 4 against New England, went on 2 for 2 and 22. But Robert Tanyan is becoming every week. He had an ACL injury, of course. You don't just come off of that and be him. But he's coming off. He's slowly every week 3 catches, 5 catches, 10 catches, 50 or 90 yards, 30 yards, 35 yards. He's slowly becoming the only guy that he can trust. It's got to be Robert Tanyan. I love Likely. I do. And I was likely going to pick him to go over Tanyan. So I looked at the numbers. I looked at the stats. And Aaron Rodgers has got Aaron Jones. I don't know. Someone robbed A.J. Dillon of a football talent. And Tanyan. Those are really the only consistent guys that he can go out and say, I trust Tanyan and I trust A.J. or Aaron Jones. Yeah. Tanyan is going to be a guy, I think, especially against the worst defense in the NFL. You can score on these guys like one hand over thing and just chuck it, and you're going to score on the Lions. Yep. I think Tanyan does get a touchdown today, and I think he does get 50 yards. So fire me up, Tanyan. Leave a Likely on your bench if you can maybe trade him to someone that needs a tight end that you can swindle and say, hey, listen, this guy balled out. You need a tight end. I need this guy. Do that. Yep.
Tre'Davious White is out for the Bills, so you're firing up Garrett Wilson. You hit it on the nose there. Currently have Mahomes, CMC, Aaron Jones, Miles Sanders, and Kelsey. Have Burrow on my bench, drafted him. Guy wants to trade me Cordero Patterson, who's back this week, Jamar Chase, and Geno for Mahomes. Keep Mahomes with Kelsey or get Chase. I'm keeping Mahomes.
Keep Mahomes. Quarterbacks win you everything. Quarterbacks are so, especially in like 2 quarterback leagues, I've seen guys go Mahomes, Herbert, and this guy is just destroying the league because you're getting at least, 70 points 80 points on a good day. Yeah. So yeah, I would go Mahomes' way.
Yeah. The Bengals not putting Jamar Chase on IR is a good sign.
It's a great sign, but it's like
when? But it's still iffy, man. It's still iffy. It's still iffy with the labrum, the hairline fracture.
Because how long is IR out for, essentially?
4 weeks minimum IR, right?
He's already out for 2. So he's basically an IR.
Yeah. I mean, the only saving grace there is that you have Burrow to go with Mahomes. I'd probably try to move Burrow than I would try to move Mahomes because it's Allen, Mahomes, 1 and 2.
That's it.
They're in a tier of their own, and then Geno Smith maybe up. No, but it's Allen and Mahomes, 1 and 2. If you can move Burrow, I'd attempt to move Burrow. Chiefs have had their bye already. He's a plug and play option rest of the season, hands down. You're holding on to Mahomes. Kansas City isn't a run first offense. They will always be a pass first offense. I could see situations in some games where the Cincinnati Bengals turn into a run-first offense. Give me Mahomes, try to move Burrow. Agreed?
That is just spitting facts.
That's it. 1 point
That's all
PPR.
you.
Pick 3. Alan Lazard, Christian Kirk, DJ Moore, Donta Foreman, Tyler Boyd. I'm going to go Foreman, Boyd, and Moore.
I'm going, give me the outer layers, get rid of. Give me the meat. Give me the inner
Kirk.
parts of the sandwich. Yep.
So you like Kirk, Moore, and Foreman.
Yep.
There you go.
Lose the bread, just give me the meats. Oh.
BJ say so. MVS or Hollins or Terrace Marshall. Terrace Marshall is making his appearance on the show.
Yes.
You love to see it. We've been waiting it for forever. LSU is wide receiver university, and Terrace Marshall is coming in to show us that.
Finally.
The past 2 weeks, he's been targeted. He's gotten yards. He's finally become that fantasy asset that most dynasty managers that have held on. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Stingiest player ever when it comes to trading Terrace Marshall. And he still holds on to him.
Still holding on. Who are you picking over the 3 here?
I love me some Terrace Marshall. I'm sorry. If it was anyone else on that list, MVS, you can't even. I mean, he's good. Hollins, he's all right, but he's, in and out. I think Terrace Marshall and DJ Moore, this is like finally that time. They got rid of the other 2 scrubs that were in front of Marshall, and now it's like, hey, it's late, but it's better now than never. Derrick Henry didn't get a start till his 4th year, and what happened since then? I think Terrace Marshall, give him, the opportunities. I think PJ Walker likes the kid. I think DJ Moore likes the guy. They want to get him the ball. So just give me Terrace Marshall. I'm looking at him all week in waivers. I'm about to scoop him myself and just carry him because you never know. This guy is the receiver too. There is no one else.
Yep.
DJ Moore is DJ Moore. And if God forbid DJ Moore goes out, Terrace Marshall is a receiver 1. But I need to trust him a little bit though.
I just don't know if I trust PJ Walker. That's the only thing for me. We've seen Hollins put up some decent numbers as the wide receiver 2 for that Raiders offense. So for me, as much as I want to say start Terrace Marshall, I'm going to go Hollins, Marshall, and then MVS there. I'm going to start Hollins just because he sees that volume in the offense. He sees the red zone targets, no Waller, and he's only got Devontae Adams ahead of him. Give me Hollins there. As much as I want to say Terrace Marshall, Stephon, as much as I want to do it, I can't.
I'll say it for you. I will jump in the way of the car so you don't have to. You watch Mean Girls?
Yes, I've watched.
Okay, so I'll be Regina George, and you just be.
I don't know the names of the characters. I have watched it, and the Bengals are pretty good against the wide receiver as well. My only thing is we could see Marshall with the garbage time points there. So, but I'm gonna start Hollins. Give me Hollins over the 3. Michael Joe, kiss and hug. Deion Jackson or Rondale Moore, flex spot, full PPR. I'm going to lean Deion.
Yeah, Deion.
Yeah,
I love you, Rondale Moore, but I think I'm on a Deion train. I'm facing Deion.
Now you love Rondale, eh?
Hey, listen, it's just, when you have your bad weeks, I was just not feeling well. A few things were said.
Yeah, I got you. Christian Kirk, Khalil Herbert, Deion Jackson, or Josh Palmer at flex. Super C&B Challengers has got a decent situation here. I'm going to lean Deion Jackson. I think he's going to see the volume over the other 4 or the other 3. If I'm going to rank them, I'm going to go Jackson, Palmer, Kirk, Herbert.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep. Thanks for tuning in. Again, if you're liking what you're seeing, like the stream, subscribe to the channel, download the uSTADIUM app. If you are a new user and you download the uSTADIUM app right now, drop your username in the comments, and we will hook you up with some promo points to get you in on the takes feature. Right now, I got a live take on there. It's live until 1 p.m. today that T. Higgins finishes as a top 3 fantasy wide receiver, 0.5 PPR. If you agree, you're going to get in on it. If you disagree, you get in on it. And you send me a snapshot of the side that you picked at FFChrisB on Twitter so I can see me take your money if you're on the opposite
I
side.
could see me take your money.
Super C&B challengers, Kenyon Drake or Michael Carter, full PPR. James Robinson is in the game. I'm going to take Kenyon Drake.
Yeah. Kenyon Drake, I think, is just a good PPR guy. It's not the sexiest name, but neither is Raheem Mostert, and yet he's an RB1.
Yep. Christian Watson will play today, despite being questionable.
Take the under in his yards.
Yeah, there you go.
Start
Mostert. I mean, you've been hitting on your bets like crazy.
Oh, you have no idea. I
have an idea. I've seen them all, but man.
Oh yeah, because we follow each other on Twitter.
Yeah. you've been pretty good, man. You're raking in the dough. Start Mostert or Cordero. I'm starting Mostert over Cordero. Cordero Patterson activated off the IR, but I like the volume that Mostert gets in that Miami offense. So give me Mostert over Cordero.
Give me actually Cordero over Mostert. I'm sorry. It is a little bit of bias, but I think that they held Cordero out as long as they wanted to. They didn't bring him back early, I think, because he is older. He needs that time to rest his bones, as we both know.
Yep.
So I think Cordero going forward is going to be, the pivotal piece of that offense. I think it does open up Kyle Pitts too, but I think Cordero Patterson comes back. Algier is going to still be, in the mix. He was good. He was very good at, filling in for him. But Cordero is going to come back, get his passing game on. I think this is a game where he does more of a receiver, like he dresses up as a receiver this week, and then next week, he goes back and takes a costume up and goes back to the running back. But I think this week they're going to have Algier be the big workload guy. Cordero is another guy. You give him 10 touches, could reek off 60, 70 yards, 5-6 catches, 60, 70 yards.
Yep.
And he's good. And they just got rid of Calvin Ridley, which was nothing for them. So I think Drake London, he's not producing as we wanted to, but he's still there. Kyle Pitts, not producing as wanted to, but he's getting better. I think you insert Cordero Patterson and you open up that offense. Yep. And all three of those guys, I think, could have a decent day.
Yep. Darren Waller, officially inactive. Zach Moss, running back for now. The Colts is inactive, so Deion Jackson is a smash start.
Dropping
Antonio Lopez, Khalil Herbert, Drake London, or Devin Duvernay, full PPR. I'm going to rank them. Duvernay, Herbert, London.
Perfect.
Yep. You're firing up Devin Duvernay.
Wait, Duvernay?
Devin Duvernay. Yeah, I'm firing up Devin Duvernay. He is the wide receiver 1 for the Baltimore Ravens as well. He is involved in the running game, especially when they're in the red zone. So give me Duvernay, the speedster, over Herbert, who is in a split time with Montgomery, and over London, who is on a team that just doesn't throw the ball enough for me.
Okay. I thought I know if I heard it. I was like, Duvernay. Kind of cut off for us.
Yeah. Brian Sargent, Deion Jackson, James Conner, or Pacheco. Big decision. I mean, I'm leaning Deion Jackson here. I don't think Pacheco sees a lot of snaps. James Conner coming back from the rib injury. I'm leaning Deion.
Yep. Deion. Anybody that has a question with Deion, I'm going to tell you right now, you are going to start Deion.
Yeah, you're starting Deion. Hurst, Likely, or Conklin, full PPR.
Give me
Conklin with 2 tutties last week.
Yeah, he did. Give me Hurst. I think Hurst is going to have a better game. He's still part of the offense. I think Conklin is a guy who's like a, one game high, one game low, one game high, one game low. We talked about the Isaiah Likely situation as well. So give me Hayden Hurst. I think he's a good focal point with Chase being out. He's the third option. Mixon's there, but I think Hurst is a better passing option to go to than it is for Mixon.
Yep.
But give me Hurst.
Lazard is active today. Good morning, guys. Pick 2, Michael Carter, DeAndre Swift, or Deion Jackson. I'm going to roll Deion Jackson and DeAndre Swift in limited capacity over Michael Carter versus the Bills.
Yeah, I'm all aboard.
Also, Tanyan or Evan Ingram this week. Appreciate y'all. We appreciate you tuning in. I'm going to roll Evan Ingram. Yeah, Evan Ingram over Tanyan. Christian Kirk or DK Metcalf?
Oh, DK Metcalf. Yeah. Arizona has the worst pass defense.
Yeah.
You can pass with anybody on those boys.
Deion Jackson or DeAndre Swift. Deion Jackson.
Okay, I was just say,
I'm
Chris,
rolling
let's
Deion
not go
Jackson
crazy here.
yeah, with the full workload here. Alan Lazard or Josh Palmer at flex, full PPR. I'm going to roll Josh Palmer over Alan Lazard this week.
Hands down. I mean, like I said, my biggest thing when you look at guys, it's the corners and it looks at the team. He will get 10 targets this game.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'm gonna roll. Yeah, I'm gonna roll. As much as I like Lazard and what he can do in that offense versus the Detroit Lions, Palmer, no AJ Terrell, positive game script, desecrated wide receiver room, wide receiver one for the Chargers. Give me Palmer. Triple Hunts, Geno or Fields. I like Justin Fields. Stefan, you like Justin Fields? The quarterback 2 over the past 4 weeks.
Keep them both.
Yeah, keep them
Don't
both.
drop
They're
them.
using them in the run. They're scripting him runs for him. The ability that he has on the ground with his feet ultimately gives him the edge over a lot of the other quarterbacks. Geno Smith, great when called upon, but Fields, fantasy-wise, is the elite option there. Give me Fields. Eric Figueroa, Christian Kirk, or Gabe Davis this week, full PPR. I'm going to roll Christian Kirk over Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
The New York Jets pass defense, pretty good, pretty darn good. So I'm going to roll Christian Kirk. Out of all the wide receivers in the Buffalo Bills offense, I think sneakily Isaiah McKenzie has the best game.
I knew it. I had a feeling you were going to say that because you were not going to disrespect Sauce Gardner like that. I knew it. It's like...
although I got Stephon Diggs at wide receiver 6 this week.
No, I mean, it's Stephon Diggs, though. It doesn't matter if anyone's on him.
Sauce has just been that dude, man. He's been that dude. I believe that's it for us. Hour 35.
Hold on. Brian Sargent, James Conner over Isaiah Pacheco, and Terrell SoFly. Give me Deion Jackson and Michael Carter over Swift.
There you go.
I just saw those two come in the last second. And Geno Smith over A-Rod. Just those are some fire. I don't know if you disagree with that, but I think
I'm good with
same page. Okay.
I just got some DeAndre Carter news. I believe DeAndre Carter is playing. Okay. He was questionable with the illness. He is dressing. Damian Harris, running back for the New England Patriots, is inactive today. He is out. So Ramondre Stevenson becomes a must start. No question about it. He is electric. He's being involved in the passing game and the running game. Even with a healthy Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson is a must start. Stefan, I think that's it for us, big guy. Let them know where they can find you, man. It's a long one today for us, but we appreciate everyone who dropped in, asked us a question, liked the stream, and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate each and every one of you. We are brought to you by the uSTADIUM app. Make sure you're hopping on that app, getting in on the takes, and on the uSTADIUM fantasy teams page. You can get on there and ask us any question that your fantasy heart desires. Another great show, Stefan. Let them know where they can find you.
Like usual, Twitter, Facebook, uSTADIUM app. Any questions, like I said, my DMs are always open. If you are even in the uSTADIUM fantasy Twitter account, we run that as well. Let us know. We will be there up until 1. I'm going to the game, so anything after 1 o'clock-ish, I will not probably be 100% there. But like I said, bring it in before 1. I would do my best. Everything. There's only 2 4 o'clock games today. So the Bucks and the Cardinals play. It's not really much of a 4 o'clock window. So get your guys in for the 1 o'clock. There's 8 games. And like I said, any questions, 1 o'clock, we're here.
Yeah, we got you. We have one last question there in the comments. Quinn Lenardi, pick one. Valdez Scantling, Zay Jones, Robert Woods, or Chase Claypool. I'm going to go with Zay Jones as the starter there for out of those 4. All right, guys, that's it for us. Good luck and congratulations to the Houston Astros on winning the World Series.